Okay, so AI, it's everywhere we look these days, right? Like seriously, one minute it's writing me these crazy detailed Shakespearean sonnets about, like cats wearing hats, and the next minute it's like robots are taking over the world, your job's gone. I bet you're feeling it too, right? That kind of like low-key AI anxiety, whether you're out there building your own AI empires or just trying to make sense of it all, this deep dive, totally for you.
It's a
We're
lot.
diving into an article today, and it's less about the nuts and bolts AI, all the tech stuff, and a lot more about how we think about AI, like its place in our work, our lives, the whole shebang.
Yeah, it's like we're so busy figuring out what AI can do that we haven't really stopped to ask ourselves what we actually want it to do for us.
It's so true. And that's something the author really digs into, with their own experience. They got super into, like, all the AI tools, image generators, the AI story writers, all that. But for them, personally, just wasn't creatively fulfilling.
Yeah, and that's an important point, right? It's easy to get swept up in the AI hype train, but the experience is so personal. Not everyone's going to have the same reaction, the same results. It's all about, finding how AI fits into your own goals, your own processes, and not just assuming it's like the magic bullet.
Right, 100%. And they have this great example. They call it AI dueling. So picture this. You've got someone who uses AI to write an entire book. Done, bam, record time. But then people are using AI to summarize that book, because who's got time to read a whole book these days?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of makes you wonder, where does it end, right? Like, what are we even doing here?
Right. It really highlights how ridiculous it could all get if we go too far. I mean, yeah, it's efficient, it's faster, but what are we losing? Like the joy of discovering a new author's voice, or I don't know, the satisfaction of like coming to your own conclusions about a book, about anything.
And that leads us to, this idea of AI actually like doing our jobs for us versus, saving us time and effort in our jobs, which is a distinction, honestly, I think a lot of us are struggling with right now.
Yeah, and the author even uses this example, right? Like summarizing an article, AI can pull out the key points, super fast, boom. But are you really like learning that information if you didn't do the work, if you didn't really dig in?
Right. It's like, what happens when you actually need to use that knowledge?
Exactly. And the AI is not there to like hold your hand.
It's like using GPS every single time you get in the car.
Exactly.
And then one day your phone dies and you're like, wait, I don't actually know how to get anywhere.
You're totally lost. The point is, these tools, they should be helping us understand more, not less, right? Not making us dependent, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. I mean, the more we understand how these tools work, where our own knowledge gaps are, that's how we actually get good at navigating all this new stuff.
Totally. And this is where the article, it kind of takes this turn, gets you thinking. They talk about these false strengths that AI can create, like, ooh, look at me, I just used AI to put together this amazing presentation. Or I used AI and I finished this whole report in like an hour. But then, like, take the AI away.
Right. Are you really that impressive?
Exactly.
And it's interesting. It's not even like a brand new problem, right? Think about like way back when PowerPoint first came out with all those templates, suddenly everyone's a presentation guru. But are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they just good at, filling in the blanks? And AI, it just takes this and like puts it on steroids. It forces us to ask, what are the core skills that will always be valuable no matter how fancy our tools get?
Totally. And the author actually uses this like kind of funny example. So there's this guy, John Doe, right? Uses AI to write an entire book about like the wonders of AI. AI does all the work, churns out all these brilliant insights.
Yeah.
Someone asks John a really basic question about his own book, and crickets. He's got nothing.
Oh, no.
Can't even hold a conversation about it.
It's like we're mistaking, competence for actual understanding. We can use these tools, make all this cool stuff, but if we don't actually get it, we just become more and more reliant on AI to like think for us.
It's like a wake-up call. It's not enough to just be like, okay, you got to keep learning the newest AI tricks. It's about remembering that it's all those human skills, the stuff AI can't replicate, that really matters.
Yeah.
Leadership, communication, critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence, all of it. That stuff becomes even more important when AI can do all the other stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, comforting in a way. Like for all the ways AI is shaking things up, it's also reminding us what makes us human, what we're good at. Totally. And it's not like this is, some brand new thing. We humans are really good at adapting, right, to new tools, new tech. Like it's what we do. It's all about approaching this stuff with a little curiosity, a little bit of a critical eye, and, just never stop learning.
And speaking of optimism, even the author, who, they don't sugarcoat the downsides. They end on a really hopeful note.
Yeah, which is huge. I mean, fear. It just kind of makes you want to curl up and hide,
Yeah.
right? But a little optimism. That
Yeah.
gives us the power to actually embrace change, make it work for us.
Exactly. They talk about this future where AI tools, they're easy for everyone to use, not just the, tech wizards, which actually makes all that human stuff even more important.
Absolutely, because those skills, that's how we use these tools well, ethically, for the right reasons. Doesn't matter how tech savvy you are.
So it's less about becoming an AI whiz and more about, mastering what it means to be human,
I love that.
which, honestly, in a world that's more and more about algorithms, that might be the most valuable skill there is.
Wow. This has been a lot. I feel like we just scratched the surface of this whole AI anxiety thing.
Yeah, it's a big one. And I think that's part of what makes it so fascinating to talk about.
But here's the thing I hope you take away from all of this. Don't get so caught up in the hype that you lose sight of what really matters, right? Knowledge is power. So yeah, understand how these tools work, but more importantly, understand yourself, your strengths, your values, your goals. Because that's your roadmap, right? As all this stuff keeps changing around us.
So well said.
All right, last thought, I promise. But imagine, just for a second, that all those optimistic AI predictions, they all come true. We've got these amazing tools saving us tons of time, making things easier. The question is, what are we going to do with all that extra time? What are we going to create? What will we learn? What problems will we finally have the space to solve? And in a world where efficiency is everywhere, what will we value most? Keep those wheels turning, and we'll catch you in our next deep dive.